Okay, let's get into some shite. What's up, people? How are you? It's the Out of Tune Podcast. I'm Rick. I'm going to be hanging out with you for just a few minutes. I hope you don't mind. I have here some cold coffee in my Life in a Kilt mug. I don't drink out of this Life in a Kilt mug too much. It's a big mug, and I don't always need that much coffee. But today it was available, and I just grabbed it, and it's a little kind of... Oh, what is that? There's a little scratch on it. What in the heck? Well, now I got to get another one. Somehow, that's like a deep gouge, too. So I'm going to have to get me another one now. How you doing out there? How you feeling? Do you have your Life in a Kilt mug? I don't even know if you could still get them. They're limited edition, let's just say. We do have... No, we don't have. We will have some Out of Tune Podcast mugs. I'm going to do some mugs, put them up. I'd like to thank the people who bought the T-shirts. You know who you are out there wearing the T-shirts. Thank you. It always helps. You know, I don't make millions off of it. I don't even make tens off of it. But it's nice having a little extra to kind of maybe pay the bill for storing the podcast. Because that usually just comes right out of my pocket. So there you go. Atlanta, it's cold today. I'm a little cold. I'm not often cold, and especially here in Atlanta, I'm not often. Is that a word? Often cold, but I am today a little bit. And I just found, so for 2 weeks, here's the thing, and maybe it's just an age thing, but I think it's my life, because I remember, I just know my whole life is always searching for something. I'm always looking for something that I put down somewhere, and then I can't find it. I don't know what I did with it. Here's my thought process is usually, I'm going to put this right here because it's a special little place, and I'll remember that I put it here, and I'll come back and I don't. I always can't remember where it is. And so this week, I've been searching for a couple things, and one of the things I've been searching for is I have a roll of masking tape that I have not been able to find that I need for a project. And I had to go out and buy some masking tape because I couldn't find my tape. I just found it sitting right here in front of me on the podcast table. I don't know why it's here, but it was sitting here. So there's that one now. That one's out of the way. I found yesterday I found something that I had been searching for a week. So things are starting to come into order as I find all of the things except my mind that I've lost out there. You're doing good. You just, you know, sometimes, and I like as spring. I'm not a big spring fan, but it's fun when spring comes in and you've been kind of sitting in the cold and there's no, the trees have no leaves out there. It's just kind of, everything's a little dead looking, and then things start springing back to life. We're in spring now. It's spring finally. This weekend is Easter, and it's kind of fun. I like it. I'm okay with it for a little while. I'll get tired of it really, really quick, but I can appreciate it. The cars are already starting to turn yellow here from the pollen, and there's going to be a lot of pain. But right now, okay, I kind of like it. Kind of enjoying that, and hopefully you are too. Up wherever you live, I know some places got some snow, and oh man, in Baltimore. So here's the thing. I'm one of those people that has this irrational fear of driving over bridges over water. And there's always those people that tell you it's an irrational fear. Nothing's going, what could happen? That's irrational. Nothing's going to happen. And then the thing that we fear the most happened this week in Baltimore. And, I don't like thoughts and prayers, like it's kind of hollow, but sympathy for the families who lost people, who were just doing their job, who were just out driving, who were just standing, who were working. And and then all of a sudden, boom, they're gone. It is life. Life happens like that, but that's crazy. That's the thing that we always, if you're driving down the big bridge and you're scared. How many times have I gone over the Mississippi River and I panic a little bit, and then I think that's irrational. Well, maybe not. Next thing you know, you're in the Mississippi River because some big boat lost their way. Oh, man. So to the people up in Baltimore, we are thinking about you, and you have our sympathy and condolences. And there's nothing we could say to make it easier or better. But wow, that's insane, totally insane. It just one of those things that I just start being afraid of again. It's a good thing to start being afraid of again, I think. Speaking of being afraid and fear, in 1 month, my birthday, Betty and birthday. Do you know what a Betty and birthday is? It sounds weird. It's not Betty. It's not a birthday in the bed. It's not a Bedouin. We're not going to be wandering in the desert. No. Betty and birthday. And the Betty and birthday is when you turn the age that of the year that you were born. And so everybody gets a different one, right? I was born in 1962. This coming year, I'm 62. That just sounds like a far out number. I always thought 62-year-olds were like ancient grandpas and stuff. I'm not an ancient grandpa. I don't think. Maybe I am. Well, to some people, I guess I am. But this year, all the 1962 babies, all the Brat Packers, a lot of the Brat Pack, who seem like young kids. They're all old grandpas now. I was looking up, Garth Brooks just celebrated his Betty and birthday. He just turned 62. He's born in 62 like me. So the next one, the birthdays would be the people born in 63 who turn the age 63, and that's in 2 years. So I guess you can only have a Betty and birthday every 2 years, right? Is that correct? I need to do the math on it. You math whizzes, check my math. Every 2 years only, you could do a Betty and birthday. Is that right? That doesn't even sound right, but it is. It's got to be. Because next year, I'm 62. I will be 62. Next year, 63. But next year, wait a minute. How could that be? No, because next year, the people who were born in 63 will turn 62. So they got another year. Is this interesting at all? But what is interesting is if you're born in 2001, you celebrate your Betty and birthday when you're 1 year old. If you're born in 2099, let's just make it easier. Let's say 1999, you celebrate your Betty and birthday when you're 99 years old. So some people are not going to be lucky enough to either celebrate or know that they're celebrating it. The people who are, I guess you're in the median age, in the 20s to 90s, 80s. Not everybody lives too long. I plan on it. But I'm at the I don't know. I think 60 that's okay. I mean, I still got a month. Who knows what'll happen to me in a month? Might fall off a bridge. I don't know. But I'm trying to think of something special to do on the Betty and birthday. You got that? I mean, that only comes around once a year, right? It's like, all birthdays only come around once a year when you think about it. You're only 61 one time. You're only 60. You're only 36 one time. But the Betty and birthday is kind of a novel thing. It's something you want to mark. I don't know. What is yours? Tell me when yours is. I would say, let's say you're 4. Well, what were you born? Some people born in, let's say you're born in 86. You get to celebrate in your 80s, right? That's not too bad. I feel bad for the people who are born in the 90s because they may not get to do it. They may not know. Some people will. That's okay. Maybe start now, but I get to have mine, I hope, in a month. And I'm trying to think of something really fun to do. I think I'm going to do a special episode of the show. I'm going to do a special Betty-an episode of the podcast. No, I do think I have a special guest, at least maybe I have a special guest. I have trouble getting guests sometimes. but hopefully I'll have a special guest, and I'm trying to think of something special that I could do. And it doesn't have to be on the day, I don't think. Anytime throughout the year. I actually thought about doing the kilt again, Life in a Kilt. I thought about maybe Betty in kilt. I don't know what that means. But I just thought of maybe I could wear a kilt for you. But I've done that. That's been done. So what can I do? Any suggestions for the bed 62? What do you do when you're 62 other than fall asleep and forget things? Just look around for your tape. If you have suggestions, feel free to throw them at me. 678-348-0008 is our listener line. And I'd like to thank the people who reach out every once in a while. They'll send me a text, just say, how's it going? Haven't heard from you in a day or two. Sometimes I'm running late. And so far, no one's called and left a message. But if you do, and you might be on the show. We can play you on the show. But it's a good time to call in. Tell me what you think I should do for my Betty and birthday. What are some good ideas to celebrate? I'll tell you one thing I'm going to do. Now, I used to be a big cigar smoker in the past, and I had to quit because that's one of those things, if you want to live long, you can't keep doing. Your body doesn't want you to anyway. My grandmother smoked until she was in her 90s, I believe, certainly in her 80s. I don't think I'd be that lucky. I have some respiratory issues, and I think smoking would have exacerbated those. I have to be careful with that word. Those issues, and cigar smoking. The thing about people say, cigar smoking is not bad because you don't inhale. Oh no, I inhaled. That's how I smoked. I sucked in the smoke, the cigars. It's why I had to quit. There's no filters. It's like acid. It's like inhaling battery acid. So I had to quit and haven't smoked in, I don't know, well over 10 years. Maybe close to 20 potentially. And so I've decided on my Betty and birthday, I'm actually going to smoke a cigar. To celebrate. Why not? I'm going to. And I think I might do a little video and post a video smoking a cigar. And what that means is for a week, my mouth is going to taste like I licked an ashtray. But it's worth it. It's worth it on the birthday, right? On the Betty and birthday celebration. There's a cigar store downtown Atlanta. Several cigar stores, but there's a particular one that every time I drive past it, I could smell the cigars coming through. I'm like, oh man, I want one of those. So I'm actually going to go in and get one, and I'm going to light up. Last time, I'm not going to do it ever again. I don't think. I don't plan on it unless there's other celebration. But I've had other celebrations. I didn't light up a cigar. This one I'm going to do. Betty and birthday. I should get a 62-year-old cigar. Do they make those? I can have a Betty and cigar. All right. One thing that I have discovered about getting older. This is interesting. I could tell you, there are certain things that people don't talk about when they get old and when they get older. And I find out, one of the things I find very interesting is like when I was younger, and I saw older people doing certain things or buying things, and it's almost like you just think, oh, they're just doing that because they want to. It isn't because they're old now. They have to do it. So, I'm trying to think of, fiber tablet. You see commercials with older people talking about fiber. I didn't know why they're talking about fiber. I don't know. It's just something old people do. But you start getting old and you find out how important fiber is in your diet. You understand why older people start talking about fiber, and older people like, the naps. Older people, there's a joke. Older people fall asleep. It's not that funny. It just happens. You fall asleep everywhere. That's not the worst thing. Falling asleep is kind of cool. Falling asleep in your fiber is not good at all, but a lot of old people do it. I've done it, and I'll do it again. One thing that I find interesting, though, is as you get older, I'm not going to say, okay, so you continue to appreciate the beauty of the human body. Can I say that? I'm trying to think of a tactful way to say it. So like the other day, all right, I wasn't porn surfing. I'm telling you, I wasn't. I was just on the internet and I was looking at some stuff, and it kind of led, you just touch a button and you move here, and you touch another and you move, and you just kind of go down these little rabbit holes. And the next thing I'm looking at, young women, not naked, young women in very little clothing, and really healthy bodies. And it was tasteful, artsy. I like to tell myself I was doing it for arts purposes, and I'm sticking with it. But I don't think that goes away, does it? Do you ever get to a point when you're, let's say, 80s, that you're just like, oh, I don't want to look at the boobs. I don't want to see another boob as long as I live. I don't think that ever happens. I really don't. I think it's kind of the opposite. The young people don't want you looking at their boobs. I don't want grandpa looking there. But you do appreciate it. You never stop appreciating it. And I think even if you're, whatever body you appreciate, whether it's male, female, or anything in between or other than, you never really stop that. It's still something that, I don't know. For me, it's not as sexual as it was when I was younger. There's an element of that, of course, but it's more of just appreciating beauty. And you could find maybe some sexuality involved in it, but it's like looking at flowers, like looking at a sunset, like looking at the beach. It's like it's just a part of beauty that you enjoy, and it never goes away. Thank goodness it never goes away. But I just I heard an interview with an older man. He was an author, and he was talking about how no one tells you when you're 80, you're still attracted to 20-year-old women, and people find that disgusting. But you can't turn it off. It's just the way you're built as a human being. 20-year-olds don't want you looking at them, and you don't have a chance. So there's kind of an isolation involved, and I find that very fascinating. And I also find it fascinating that as I get older, beauty can be found. So like bodies that I didn't really find that attractive when I was younger now are everything. There's more beauty as you get older. You see just in average people's faces, you see beauty that you didn't see when you were younger. Not everybody has to look like a movie star. You just see a regular person or, just somebody off the street, and you could just see it. To me, anyway, there's just so much more beauty, and that's wonderful as you get older, is to experience more beauty. But I can remember my grandfather. I probably shouldn't tell this story, but I can remember my grandfather. I don't know how old he was. He could have been my age now, but my grandfather, when we would go over to his house, my grandfather loved kind of pinup girls, and he liked, I think he had a subscription to Playboy at one point. And I can remember going into his room one time and going into his closet, and he had all these naked women pinned up in his closet. You're not going to put it in the room where you could see it. My grandfather was a churchgoer. He's not going to put a naked woman but in the closet, okay. And I guess my grandmother for years tried to get him to come out of the closet. But I just remember that so much, opening the door and seeing, whoa, Grandpa's got nudies in here. And so I don't know, is it just my family? Is it running my family? Maybe everybody out there is like, oh, listen to this pervert. No, I think it's everyone. I think you continue to appreciate it as you get older. All right. I invented some words. I do this every once in a while. I come up with words, new words for things. I'm deciding I'm going to start writing them down. I should start talking about them on the show. So I have two new words I've invented. And I go back and try to figure out the ones that I've invented in the past, maybe bring them out. But I got two I'm going to share with you today. One word is it's a description for a type of music, and it's like for beach music, like so you get Beach Boys, Jimmy Buffett, Jack Johnson, Kenny Chesney, you know, any kind of music about the beach type music. Everybody just calls it beach music or something. When I was looking it up, there was just no label for it, really. So I've decided we call it salt rock. How about that? Because that's kind of beachy, right? So salt rock now is beach music. Any music that you generally hear or play or is associated with the beach is salt rock now. I proclaim that. All right, cold coffee. Number 2 word. This is a good one. This is my favorite one. So let's say you have a friend or you're in a relationship. Or let's just start with a friend. A friend, and they do something that you hate. They do something, or even they just have something that you hate. What could it be? The example that I used is, let's say I'm vegetarian, all right? And my wife last night made a steak, okay? So I'm not offended by that, but I really don't particularly would want to have it in the house. But she likes it, so that's cool. But let's say that I didn't like it, and I decided to kind of make her pay for it. And while she wasn't looking, I put a bunch of salt on it and ruined it. I ruined her steak because it offended me. And I'm calling that, and we're going to name it after the Christmas story. It's leg lamping. Remember in the Christmas story, the wife didn't like the leg lamp, and she accidentally knocks it over and breaks it, and it destroys the husband. So I'm calling that leg lamping when you do, and people be like, "You totally leg lamped me." So if you do something or someone does to you, they destroy something that you love, anything, because they can't stand it. That's leg lamping. So that's a new word. We're going to add that to the dictionary. Start using it now so people can pick up on it. All right? I think it's a good word. Leg lamping. Yeah, let's. So this is an example. Now, this was not on purpose. Years ago, I was dating this person, and they were watching a TV show. I didn't care for the TV show. And I accidentally, and this is true, I accidentally hit the button. They were recording it, and I accidentally hit the button to turn off the recording. And they thought I did it on purpose because I hated the show. But I didn't do it on purpose. Now, if I had done it on purpose, that's leg lamping. I leg lamped them because I can't stand that show. But I didn't. Okay. All right, we have some random questions I was sent in. Remember, I open up, ask for random questions, doing 3 per show. Anybody could send them in. You don't have to send 3. You could send 1. Just any random question you want to ask me. I'll answer it here on the podcast. And you could send it to our email address, which is rick at outatune.com, or you can text or call the listener line, 678-348-0008, and you can ask the questions. I got 3 today, random questions. Number 1, what is your favorite cheese? All right, I like cheese. I do like cheese. I thought at first it's kind of hard to pick your favorite cheese, but it's really not, because there's some nasty cheeses I'm not into. And there are some nasty cheeses I am into. So some people don't like blue cheese. I like blue cheese. On certain things I do. I don't think I would like blue cheese on pizza, but I do like blue cheese. There's a certain kind of cheese. I call it sewer cheese. It smells like a sewer. You know what I'm talking about. Some people love that. My wife loves that. I've been with a lot of people who love sewer cheese. I can't stand it. It just smells like it's rotted. For some people, that's just like the greatest thing ever. I don't know why. But my favorite cheese, I like a lot of different kind of cheeses. So if I'm making a sandwich, provolone is awesome. Smoked provolone, awesome. I like all of that kind of stuff. Swiss is pretty good. First time I had Swiss cheese, I hated it. I thought it was a joke. I thought there was something wrong with it. I was a kid. But my all-time favorite cheese is probably cheddar cheese. I love sharp cheddar cheese. And I love Irish cheese. Cheddar cheese. So I'm going to go with sharp cheddar cheese. And even better if it's got a little smokiness to it. Smoked cheddar cheese would be my favorite. I could eat an entire block of it. And probably have at some point. Number 2, who is your favorite actor? Okay, so this is weird because whoever I say, I'm going to regret it because I'll be like, oh crap, I forgot this person. But I got 2 I'm going to mention. One used to be, I don't know, maybe my favorite actor for a while. Like, I love Dustin Hoffman in almost everything. And he used to be my favorite actor. And kind of still is. Some of the roles he's chosen recently, not my favorite. My all-time favorite actor would be Paul Newman. Love Paul Newman. Best actor ever, I feel like. And I've seen him in a lot of stuff. I can continue watching Paul Newman in almost everything. So I'm going to go with Paul. I'm trying to think of contemporary actors who I like. I like a lot. I can't think. I do like Harrison Ford and a lot of stuff. I like intense actors, I'm pretty sure. That's something I like. And there's somebody I know there's somebody I'm not remembering. If I think about it, I'll be like, oh, I should have said that. But I'm going with Paul. Paul's my favorite. No. Number 3, do you believe in God? All right, so I have addressed that on the show many times. If you send that in, you should know. You could just go back and listen to the podcast to hear that answer. So just because you might not want to do that, I'll answer the question. And I'm going to answer it by saying I can't answer that question. And it's true because, and here's why I can't. Because I don't know what your definition of God is. So the traditional definition of God, I would have to say, no, I don't believe in some bearded, basically powerful human who lives in the sky. I don't believe that. So that would be no. Do I believe in a higher being? Yes. Will I explain that? Not right now. No. So I do believe that there is a now when I say being, I don't think it's like it's not a being that. So like I'm a being. I am a being, and so I think there's only one being, and it takes the form of many, and so the being that I am is the being that you is, and the being that God is. So we're all the same being. There's just one being taking form. We're all life forms. So life, can you describe life? Can you define life? No, you can't. You know it because you feel it and you are it, but you can't describe it any more than you can describe God. And I say God and life are one and the same. So when I say I believe in God, I'm really saying I believe in life. Yes, I believe in life. We are life forms. We are forms of life. And because of that, we are forms of God. So the word God, it took me a long time to kind of come to terms with what God meant and not be afraid of it. It's problematic when it starts taking the form of religious, when it has religious connotations and traditions attached to it, because then you do have the humanness, the so-called big divine being that gets mad, jealous, regrets things. When you regret something, like the Bible, I think, says that God regretted. He was sorry that he made humans. So he wiped him out with a flood. So that's basically God regretting, saying he made a mistake. God made a mistake. God admits he makes a mistake. So all of that stuff is problematic to me. You could look at it as literature, and you can go, okay, it's poetic, it's literature. Let's don't take it literal. And when you do that, okay, maybe we can get by with it. But when you start really making it literal, it doesn't make any sense. And I can't believe in that kind of, what's the difference in Jehovah and Zeus? I mean, they're just God characters in a book, right? They point at something, and what they're pointing at, I think, is the important thing. So that's the long way around, right? To answer the question, I'll say, yeah, I do believe in God from my understanding of that. However, if I get into a conversation with you, you would probably say, no, he doesn't. So I'm totally fine with saying that I'm an atheist, even though I'm not. And I'm also not a believer. So I don't have a label, and I'm cool with that. I think we should abolish all labels. Okay. Where am I down here? Oh, I'm almost done, people. I'm wrapping it up. I saw, I want to talk about documentaries. All right. So I've made a couple of, many times I've discussed the fact that one of my childhood heroes was Robert Shields, from Shields and Yarnell. Remember, are you old enough to remember Shields and Yarnell, the mime team of mime, husband and wife mime team, who were incredible? In the 70s, they were huge. They even had their own TV show for a while. And I was obsessed with them to the point that I wrote asked for an autograph, and they sent it back. I got an autograph. I still have it somewhere. And so I used to dress up like a mime, and I was a weird kid. But I loved Shields and Yarnell, and I loved Robert Shields. I just thought he was brilliant. I still do. At some point in the last couple of years, someone did a documentary. It's called Robert Shields, My Life as a Robot. One of the things that Robert Shields did was the robot, and he kind of founded or discovered or created that kind of robot. You know, Michael Jackson did it when he danced, and a lot of hip hop dancers did it. Like when people were doing break dancing back in the 80s, there was a lot of the robot stuff, and that came right directly from Robert Shields, and still is. So apparently in the documentary, they talk a lot about that, and a lot of the hip hop dancers who do the robot talk about how he was their inspiration. They studied him to do what they do. But the documentary has been released now, and it went to, it's gone to several film festivals, and it's winning awards. And I just read a review of it from a documentary film magazine, and they said, if a documentary could be rated higher than a 10, this one should be. They said it's a fantastic film. I cannot wait to see it. I'm hoping it's got to come on like some streaming channel, right? But I'm throwing it out in case you might want to watch it. It might surprise you. Robert Shields, My Life as a Robot. Just watch out for it. If I see it, if it comes on some streaming show, I'm going to talk about it. I'll tell you about it. You'll hear it from me. And I did see a documentary. Hold on, I'm going to have some cold coffee real quick. I did see a documentary. I can't remember the name of it, but it was about rockabilly. It was about rockabilly lifestyle. I believe it's on, might be on Amazon Prime, I think now. I kind of always forget how much I really love rockabilly music, and I like the culture. I like the style. You know, I'm not a tattoo person, and I don't have a pompadour. I don't dress in the 50s, but I love all that stuff, and I like that culture, and I like seeing the decor. I think it's very cool, and I love the music. And that was a fun little documentary. It was kind of a nice little way to kind of remember that that's a section of my life. Sometimes I forget how much I really enjoy it. And there's some things that are involved into in the culture that I'm not into, like I said, tattoos, and also like a lot of cars. And so I'm not into old cars, and a lot of people are. And that's cool. That's not a put down. It's just like something that doesn't necessarily interest me. But when I'm watching that documentary, it's fun. It's a whole part of it. And it's just like taking a peek into a lifestyle, even like the tattoo lifestyle that I don't get to see all the time. And it's fun, and I enjoyed it. So if you see that documentary, I can't remember. It's Rockabilly's in the title, something of Rockabilly. I believe it's on Amazon Prime. Give it a view if you like it. If you like that kind of music and culture, take a look at it. But there was something that they talked about in there, which I thought was really interesting. They had a little section on the Confederate flag. Apparently, it's a part of Rockabilly. Some people make it a much bigger part than other people do. And obviously, it's a controversial thing. And being from the South, I feel like I have the right and the ability to talk about it. And I grew up in Tennessee, East Tennessee, and the Confederate flag was a constant presence. I mean, it was on things in advertising, on people's clothes. I know people who wore belt buckles with. It was always there. And then, we're kind of in a more of a politically correct environment, and people try to get rid of it. And that's anytime you tell people don't do something, there are people going to want to do it. It's just human nature, right? You can't do that, and people be like, "Oh, I'll show you. I can't." I mean, I'm that. That's the South, right? The Southern anthem is "I Won't Back Down" by Tom Petty. I just feel like that's every Southerner's anthem right there. You're not going to tell me I will stand at the gates of hell and not back down. That's just, even if I'm in a losing war. There's a bit of a stubbornness to it. But there are a lot of people who, I guess, associate it with the South. I don't know why. And people try to make it more of a Southern thing, I feel like, than it is. And a lot of people like, it isn't racist, it's Southern. And I feel like that's naive. Okay, it might be Southern, it might say the South a lot to you. But let's look at it like this. Number one, what is it? It's the Confederate flag. All right, right there, it's the Confederate flag. It's associated with the Confederacy. What was the Confederacy about? The same thing we always call it a rebel flag. The rebel flag, and it's exactly the same thing. It's not a Southern flag. It's the Confederate flag. It's got stars on the flag of the states who seceded because of slavery. So even if it is the South, even if it does have Southern connotations to it, you can't deny that it's not partially, anyway, if not all, about racism. And to people who were enslaved, or more accurately, to people who have ancestors who were enslaved, you have to understand how that's got to be pretty sensitive to them. And no different from contemporary Jewish people seeing a swastika from Germany. I mean, they may have not directly been affected by it, but it affects their history. It says something about what people did to their family, to their ancestors. And I just like, why can we not shelf it? It's what's going to do to the South? Is it, we going to break down and just like disappear? No, it's just that stubborn thing of you're not going to do that because you can't tell me what to do. If it hurts somebody, and that person is also from the South, and that person is your neighbor, why can't you let it go? What is it going to do to you? I just feel like a lot of people, you could still say it's from the South. All right, maybe it is, but you're also denying what it really stands for. And you're denying a big part of its heritage and its history. And in doing that, you have no credibility, because it's not just about the South. Even if it is somewhat about the South, it's not just about the South, just like the swastika is not just about Germany. So let's let it go. Can we let it go? I'm a Southerner saying let's let it go. Why don't we? We don't need it. Do we need it? Are we going to use it again? Can you pick out something else? I just feel like, why don't we just get another flag? Can we make a Southern flag? A flag that's not anyway associated with racism? Let's get a new flag for the South that South can say, that's my identity now. You know, the people who are alive, they're going to kick and scream, oh, it's not my flag. But eventually they'll die out, and then the people from the South in the next couple of generations will embrace it. And that'll be the Southern flag. And no one will need the stupid Confederate flag anymore, because they'll have a different flag. And it won't be seeped in a racist history. If it's not racist, how come, when the Capitol building got crashed, dudes from Delaware were flying the flag. Why were they flying? They're not from the South. It's got other connotations. Look at it that way. Think about it. It's not all just about what you think. Can you step back and go, how's it used? How come? Why is it you see it at Klan rallies a lot? Are they celebrating the fact that they're South? I think maybe you have to go, maybe there's something else to it that I'm not seeing. Maybe I'm choosing to be blind to a part of the history of this flag. It's a pretty flag. Okay. It was on the top of the Dukes of Hazzard's car. The General Lee, we're not even going to talk about the General Lee or some of the things that John Schneider's recently said, but it's a pretty little flag. It kind of reminds, Scottish flag. You got the little stars and bars and this is a little bit from the Union Jack. You got the cross, St. Andrew's cross. It all kind of stuck in there together. But I feel like let's grow up a little bit, Let's just grow up and say, well, maybe we don't need that flag, man. Let's get us a new one. Let's start all over. No one does what I want. No one says the things, you know what? They're leg lamping me. That's exactly what they're doing. It's important to me, and they're not letting me have it. All right. I don't know. What is that? Oh, that was the news program. I hit the wrong button because I was trying to say goodbye. The news for today is I can't remember which buttons to push. Anyway, hey, thanks for hanging out with me. I'll talk to you later. Oh, my God. I need some guidance. I need someone to hold my hand. I need someone to show me the way. Because I'm 62 and I'm lost. And I don't know where my tape is.